"We don't need you." 4 words. My daughter said them on a Tuesday afternoon in March. I was standing right there in my own kitchen, holding a cup of coffee I'd made with my own 2 hands. She didn't whisper it. She didn't try to hide it. She said it like she was reading off a grocery list. My son nodded. Right there. Right in front of me. Like I was already a ghost. I'm 92 years old. I fought in a war most of these kids can't even spell. I built 2 businesses from dirt. I raised 3 children on a factory salary before the businesses even broke even. And now I'm standing in the house I paid for, listening to my own flesh and blood talk about me like I'm a burden they're waiting to unload. But here's what they didn't know I'd already done. See, I'm old. I'm not stupid. There's a difference, and it's a big one. I started noticing things about 6 months before that Tuesday. Little things. The way my daughter's eyes would drift when she visited. Not to me. To the walls. To the furniture. To the silver candlesticks my wife collected for 40 years. She'd touch the old oak table in the hallway, run her fingers over it like she was measuring it for her own house. My son did the same thing with the garage. He'd walk through it, counting tools, eyeing my workbench like he was already dividing it up in his head. They looked at me the way vultures look at something dying in the desert. Patient. Hungry. Waiting. I'd ask my daughter about her week and she'd give me 3 words. But ask her about the house, about what year we bought it, about the deed, and suddenly she had all the time in the world. They came by more often that winter. Smiling. Bringing groceries I didn't ask for. Talking real sweet. But their eyes told a different story. They looked at me like I was already underground. Like the funeral was just a formality they were waiting to do. I'll never forget the night I heard them in the kitchen. It was late. Maybe 1 in the morning. I got up to get some water. My knees don't work like they used to, so I move slow and quiet. I was halfway down the hallway when I heard voices. My daughter. My son. Whispering like thieves. I stopped. I stood there in the dark and I listened. My daughter was talking about the house. About how much it's worth now. About whether they should sell it or rent it out. My son wanted to know about the bank accounts. He asked if she'd seen the paperwork. If she knew the exact numbers. They weren't talking about me. They were talking about my money. My house. My life. Like I was already gone. I stood there for maybe 10 minutes. Just listening. My own children. Carving me up like a Thanksgiving turkey before I was even cold. I didn't sleep that night. Not 1 minute. I sat in my chair by the window and I watched the sun come up. And I made a decision. The next morning, they came down for breakfast, all smiles, asking me how I slept, pouring me orange juice like they cared. I smiled right back. I told them I slept fine. I even laughed at one of my son's jokes. But I'd already made a very specific call. I called my lawyer at 8 in the morning, the second his office opened. I told him I needed to see him that day. Not next week. That day. He heard something in my voice. He cleared his schedule. I didn't tell my kids where I was going. I said I had a doctor's appointment. They didn't ask questions. Why would they? They figured I'd be dead soon anyway. The lawyer's office smelled like old paper and leather. I sat down across from him and I didn't waste time. I told him everything. The whispers, the looks, the way they treated me like furniture. He didn't seem surprised. He said he sees it all the time. Kids waiting for their parents to die so they can cash in. He pulled out the old papers, the will I'd written 15 years ago. Everything split 3 ways. The house, the savings, the truck, all of it. Equal shares for all 3 of my children. I looked at those papers for a long time. Then I told him to write a new one. He asked me if I was sure. I told him I'd never been more sure of anything in my life. We spent 2 hours in that office. He wrote. I talked. Every single dime I'd saved, every inch of property I owned, it was all getting moved. Not to them. Not to the Vultures. I signed the papers with a pen that felt heavier than it should have. But my hand didn't shake. Not once. When I walked out of that building, I felt lighter, freer. I passed my son in the parking lot on the way to my truck. Pure coincidence. He was coming out of the pharmacy next door. He waved, asked me how the doctor went. I told him everything was fine. He smiled. He had no clue. No clue at all. I drove home and I didn't say a word about it. Not that day. Not that week. I waited. I watched them. I let them keep playing their little game. And I smiled the whole time. 3 weeks later, my son went to the bank. He wanted to add his name to one of my accounts. For emergencies, he said. Just in case something happened to me. The bank told him no. They told him the account had been moved, restructured. He came to my house that same afternoon. Face red, voice loud. My daughter showed up 20 minutes later. They wanted answers. They wanted to know what I'd done. I sat in my chair and I looked at both of them. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just told them the truth. I told them I'd heard them that night in the kitchen. I told them I'd seen the way they looked at me, like I was already dead. I told them I changed everything. My daughter's face went white. My son started shouting. Told me I was being unfair. Told me they were my children. Told me I owed them. I let him finish. Then I stood up. I'm 92, but I stood up straight. I told them they were right about one thing. I didn't need them either. They left. Slammed the door so hard a picture frame fell off the wall. I picked it up. It was a photo of all of us from 30 years ago. Smiling. Happy. I put it in a drawer. But they didn't know about the second document hidden inside that desk. The one that made sure if anything happened to me under suspicious circumstances, everything would be investigated. Every phone call, every visit, every word. I'm not stupid. I'm old, not stupid. Here's what I want every person listening to understand. Your money is yours. Your house is yours. Your life is yours. You don't owe anyone a single thing just because they share your blood. If your kids treat you like a paycheck, cut them off. If they're circling like buzzards, protect yourself. Don't wait until you're gone to teach them respect. Do it now, while you're still breathing. I sleep better now than I have in years. My house is quiet. My money is safe. And my conscience is clear. If you've got a story like mine, or if you've seen this happen to someone you love, drop a comment below. Let's talk about it. Because I guarantee you're not alone. And neither am I.
Notice, this video is a creative work of storytelling. The character of Benedict is fictional and designed to reflect shared human experiences and life lessons. Any financial figures or personal stories mentioned are for illustrative and educational purposes only. This content does not provide professional financial, legal, or mental health advice. Copyright 2026, The 92-Year Witness. All rights reserved.